Going to go around the league today, talk some Jets, Giants, NFL, get into the playoffs. We'll even have hockey. Zev Rosenbaum at 125, Jeremy Tuck at 225. I'd like to officially welcome them both to the show as our beat reporters for the Giants and for the NHL. But let's start this game off with yesterday, East Rutherford, New Jersey. I don't care how they did it. The New York Jets are 4-3 right now.
There's got to be a big asterisk there because there's a lot that went wrong with this game. Geno Smith, again, showed a lot of good things, a lot of bad. That first drive, the opening drive of the game for the Jets, was as impressive of a drive as I've seen the Jets run this entire season.
Absolutely, Geno's numbers 17-33, 233, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. He was sacked 4 times for a loss of 27. He started off flawlessly, and I was very impressed that they actually capped it off a 7 instead of getting the 3 that I thought they would. But the problem came when he threw that pick 6. He threw it into god awful coverage.
Right, the first drive, very impressive. Jeremy Curley was fantastic.
Jeremy Curley has been a bright spot on this team so far.
He came up with some big plays on that drive, big third downs by Geno on that drive, and then the beautiful throw. I think it was to the front left corner of the end zone on a comeback route for Curley, and they just looked really fluid that entire drive.
Absolutely, and then the problems arose. He threw the ball. I think he was trying to hit Stephen Hill, if I'm not mistaken, but I'm not positive. No matter the case, he threw it. He was draped, and he got completely owned, and he suffered a little bit after that. But Geno, in this game, is really a tale of two halves. The first half, the defense looked a little sloppy. The offense they started off nicely, but then they struggled mightily. They weren't getting that running game really going, and then all of a sudden, second half, they're down 21-10, I believe. Yep, they were down 21-10. All of a sudden, Antonio Allen with a pick 6, and the game turned around completely.
Right. So first off, Geno Smith's pick 6. I think that really changed the tone of the game for him. He was coming off a very impressive drive. They were moving the ball a little further. They were already well into field goal range for the Jets. And you can't stare down a receiver. Only receiver on the right side of the field. I think it was a pro route. Stared him down for a good couple of seconds after all of his options on the left side of the field were taken. And, just made a terrible read. He got to throw it away. He got to scramble. Geno did a good job of scrambling the entire game, especially for the touchdown that he got in the second half, I believe. Scrambled 6 times for 32 yards and that TD. I don't know the longest 14. So, he's shown the athleticism and the ability and, I guess, the field awareness to know when he's got to run. So I think that's one of those situations that, as a rookie, it's probably going to be a little growing pains, but I've seen enough positives that I don't want to see as many of those mistakes as we saw yesterday, because I guess it really shouldn't have been as close of a game as it has been. Jets defense is a little backwards now because the Jets run defense has been strong all year, and then they allow Stephen Ridley and Brandon Bolden to run a combined times of 19 times for I believe 86 yards, but 2 TDs. They let Ridley and Bolden run for a TD each, which is really uncharacteristic, whereas the secondary, which has been beat up the entire season, held Tom Brady again to a no-touchdown game. Tom Brady is really worrying me right now. His last 3 games.
He is struggling.
The loss to Cincinnati, where they only scored 6 points.
In
the last 3 games, Tom Brady has thrown 1 touchdown and 3 picks.
This game really was a bizarro game. You look at it, Geno, the run. You look at the run game. Bilal Powell was the guy the whole time. He only had 3 carries this year for 6 yards. Chris Ivory ran the ball 34 times for 104 yards, no touchdowns, but he had a fire in him. We'll get back into him in a second. The pass game was pretty effective. They had 2 guys go over 60 yards receiving, with Curley 8 catches, 97 yards and a touchdown. David Nelson came out of nowhere, 4 catches for 80 yards. And the defense, that secondary played very well yesterday for the most part. And I give my defensive MVP for this game yesterday was Antonio Allen, ignoring the pick 6 And Gronk had very good numbers. He still draped him and played him beautifully. And he saves a touchdown at one point. Antonio Allen, fantastic game. That front three of Richardson, Wilkerson, and Damon Snacks Harrison, they were a little weak yesterday. Wilkerson got off the block beautifully. He hit Brady a few times very nicely. But as a whole, they didn't play that great yesterday, that front four. And what I'll get...
They got after Tom Brady. Tom Brady he fumbled twice. There were, I believe, 4 sacks, one by Copel, one by Pace, one by Wilkerson, and one by Harris. And including Pace and Copel, they had 4 fumbles. So, they got after Tom Brady well. And Gronk was still a big part of the game. A lot of analysts were saying, get him in your fantasy lineups. I don't care if he's rusty.
8 catches, 114.
He had a great game. 8 catches for 114 yards. He's that real big target that Tom Brady's been missing all year. Edelman has been a nice fill-in for Amendola while he's hurt, but Amendola is really going to be the only one main target Tom Brady had all season. Now that he's hurt, he's been working with fill-ins the entire season. Tompkins, Dobson, both have drops issues. Austin Collie was a late sign. They've had a lot of issues. So Gronk actually really helped this offense, but Tom Brady is really holding them back right now. I'm not sure what's wrong with him, but he's just making bad reads. I don't know if you can really just blame the receiving core that he has. Because, some of these throws that we're used to seeing him make, they're just not there this year.
Brady's numbers yesterday, 22 of 46, 228, no touchdowns, a pick. He was sacked, as we said, 4 times for 23 yards. Receiving-wise, Gronkowski, 8 catches, 114. Julian Edelman, 5 catches, 44. Aaron Dobson, 3 catches, 34. And then Kenbrell Tompkins had 2. Collie had 1. Bolden and 1. Ridley had 2. Brady also fumbled the ball twice yesterday. Brady has not looked even remotely the same. He looks shook. He looks frustrated beyond compare. And, you give him, we'll take this with a grain of salt because, he, again, as we said, he is not playing with anything remotely good receivers. Aaron Dobson isn't a number 4 receiver on most teams even. But with that being said, Tom Brady's supposed to be that guy, like Peyton Manning, we'll talk about him later, to make his receivers better. He's not supposed to need these great receivers to make them better. And you would think Gronk coming back, and the numbers here aren't very indicative, to be fair, because as well as nice as Gronk's numbers are here, the defense played him nicely for the most part. They saved the touchdown at the 2. Gronk almost had another touchdown near the end of the game where he tried to catch the ball one-handed, and he dropped it. There was nice coverage. They lost him, but it was nice coverage still. I give credit to that secondary. They did a nice job. But and also, as far as the run game goes, Brady said they'll live and die by the run game. It was a stark contrast because they did nicely in the run game. And the receiving core just didn't put up. I have no other way to describe it. Going to the other side of the ball here for New England, Chandler Jones, Dante Hightower, and Brandon Spikes all at 11 tackles. And, we'll keep in mind here, the Jets win this game, and we all know the glaring issue, which we'll get into in a second. But keep in mind, no Vince Wilfork, no Tommy Kelly, no Gerard Mayo. This team is hurting and hurting badly on defense right now.
On offense, too, you're still missing Danny Amendola, which is really an underrated part of what this offense brings. Because
but they've been missing him.
With Calvin Johnson, when he was out a few weeks ago, you see the spacing on the field reduced to the size of like an office cubicle.
Yeah, but Amendola's only played 2 games so far this whole year, and
right. So what those guys can bring to the field is huge. And Edelman does a nice job, but Rob Gronkowski, I think, is going to be that guy moving forward. We're going to be able to see him open up things for the other receivers, and they have to step up. Edelman will have to step up. Dobson too. Tompkins, even maybe Austin Collie. So I think moving forward, things for that offense can get better. Stephen Ridley's looking a little better in the past 2 games. He had a great game last week with, I think it was 97 yards and 2 TDs. This time, 11 carries and 50 yards and a touchdown, including that big 17-yard touchdown. So I think that offense is coming back a little bit. I guess they'll have to deal with the injuries on defense. If they can, then they still have a shot at this, and they should have the lead. They should be the favorites to win this division.
And let's keep in mind, we're talking here The Jets defense is still the number 4 ranked defense. I blasted their secondary to no end on the show. But they're still the number 4 ranked defense in the NFL. Brady wasn't playing any scrubs. And his schedule moving forward, he's gonna have the Dolphins next week. That's gonna be a statement game for him if he's gonna be able to seriously, he's gonna turn it around. I think next week's the week where he needs to make that statement, or the Jets and the Dolphins for that matter are gonna pounce. I can see both of them bringing a lot of pressure and a lot of heat on the Patriots right now, and I would be very afraid if I'm a Patriots fan of either of these teams. Granted, the Bills did beat the Dolphins yesterday, but I liked what I saw from the Dolphins a lot. Mike Wallace got going finally. But going back to the Jets here, let's talk about the final play, and we all know what we're talking about here.
Almost the final play, the second or third to final play.
What should
both attempted? What was it, 56 or 54?
50? It was a 56. Let me play this out. Essentially, they line up. They're on the 40. For some reason, they run the ball on third down, try to get a couple extra yards. I didn't like the play, but they played conservative. They don't get it. They get stuffed. He loses about a yard. They're fourth, and I think it was like 4th and 6, and they have a choice. Do you punt here? Or do you kick the field goal? I personally didn't like either call. What I wanted them to do was go for it, because if you miss the field goal, you put them in awful field territory. You put the Patriots in great field territory. And
where was the ball on the line?
The ball's on, I believe, the 40 flat, maybe the 39.
And how much time on the clock?
There was about 7-8 minutes. I say you go for it on that play. Worst case scenario, you don't get the first down. You give them the ball on the 40. You give them better field position if he kicks the ball and misses, and you don't punt it there because you're in too good of territory. But that's besides the point. Kicks the field goal, 56-yarders, not even close. But wait, flag thrown on the play. What's happening here? Unsportsmanlike conduct on the defense, on the Patriots. Why? This is a call that has never been called in the NFL before. It's a new rule. It's never been called. Let's keep that in mind.
For good reason. It had absolutely no impact on the play whatsoever.
I can hear that animosity. The call was pushing into the pile. 15 yards on the first down. So
pushing your own teammate into the pile.
It was this,
essentially just a pile of guys pushing into each other.
Absolutely. And essentially, this is a new rule apparently enacted this year. It gave them a fresh set. They ran the ball 3 times quickly. And that was it. And the Jets lined up 40 yards. They win this ball game. Look, I don't think you can blame the refs here for letting the Jets win this game. Purely because, now on the same hand though, the Jets didn't win this game. They didn't. The Jets did not win this game.
Patriots lost this game.
The Patriots lost this game. They lost it badly. The Jets played impressive. I was very impressed with how they played.
I mean, if you look at the numbers, do you look at the numbers and say the Jets deserve to win this game?
I do.
Joe Smith throwing for 233 yards, 1 touchdown, and a pick-6. Chris Ivory needing 34 carries just to garner 104 yards. Look at us. That's less than a 3 yards per carry average. I mean, does that scream a team that deserves to win a game like that? I mean, granted, Tom Brady played badly, but I think the Patriots were the better team on the day.
They were. Here's the thing: the Jets were still the better team on the day, because the Patriots played. You know, we talk about the pick 6. Geno Smith outplayed Brady yesterday. Let's not joke around here. Brady played awful. No, but just not in terms of this game. But just to think about that confidence-wise for Geno Smith, that you outplayed one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time, is just something to marvel at. And Geno Smith did not have a fantastic game by any stretch, but aside from that pick 6, he did exactly what I preach every week he needs to do: not screw up.
That terrible pick 6 where you stare down the receiver for a good 4 seconds.
Essentially. I mean, look, there were bad things. He lost the ball a couple times, but he jumped on and saved it both times.
Okay, Tom Brady's 6'6". I mean, he was trying to squeeze it into a tight slot, I think, to Gronk. And then Edelman had one of the most pathetic attempted tackles on the return. So, I mean, it was a pick six. It was bad, but Geno Smith stared down his receiver, and there was only one defender there and nobody else on the entire side of the field. So, I mean, Geno Smith's pick six, I think, was worse. But it's not like they really won the game.
Let me break. I have the rule right in front of me. Here is Rule 9.13b2 of the NFL Rulebook. When Team A presents a field goal or tries to kick formation, Team B players cannot push teammates on the line of scrimmage into the offensive formation. That is directly in the rulebook, apparently. And after the game, Chris Jones, who pushed his teammate in, quote, "Yeah, it was something we talked about probably during camp and stuff, and it just slipped out of my mind. So it was just my mistake. Nobody else I've just got to man up and fix it next time," end quote. The truth is, this is a rule. They knew this was a rule. Did it have effect on the play? In this case, no. But let me ask a counter question. Let's say he was kicking the 40-yarder, and this happens. It just happened because he's kicking a 56-yarder. We're going to say it didn't affect the play. But
I mean, they threw the flag before the field goal went wide left anyway. So it had no impact like that way.
no. So I'm saying though, we're saying that it had no impact on the play, but it had no impact on the play because it was a 56-yard field goal attempt that we were all pretty sure he was going to miss. Even the announcers were, pretty angry.
I mean, it's a really vital moment in the game. It's a barely noticeable penalty. It had absolutely no impact on the play. And I mean, if you're gonna let Antonio Cromartie be very physical with receivers all game,
to be fair, everyone's being.
Really call a flag there.
To be fair, everyone's being physical. Stephen Hill pushed on. That wasn't a real offensive pass interference on the touchdown, and that got called. Yeah.
It's obvious that it made a big difference on the play.
The NFL has been playing no nonsense. It's the no fun league. They've been playing it straight. They're not letting the players play really. And if that's the case, you call this call. Look, is this a tuck rule? Look, is this a tuck rule type call? Absolutely. But for people out, and for the record, for people out there saying, "Oh, they were going against the NFL is cheating against the Patriots." When the hell was the last time the NFL cheated against the Patriots and Tom Brady? When was the last time anyone in the NFL office said, "You know what? Tom Brady shouldn't win another Super Bowl. Let's throw this game to the Jets, to the New York Jets, to Rex Ryan, to the pariah of the NFL." When's the last time the NFL wanted to help this team out? So whoever's out there saying, and I've heard plenty of people now, whoever's out there saying that they're throwing the game, they're giving the game to the Jets, they had money on it, whatever, just shut up. Let's be honest here. The Patriots did not deserve to win this game, and they didn't win this game. Flat out, no questions asked, 0, done. It was a real rule. Look, do the Jets deserve to win this game? In reality, maybe, maybe not. But the Patriots damn well do not deserve to win this game. And that's the bottom line. So anyone out there saying that, "Oh, this is a ridiculous call," and keep in mind, I'm a Jets fan. I'm not going to lie about that. But being objective here, anyone out there who's complaining, and Belichick, if Belichick says anything, Belichick's not even arguing this that much. Let's keep in mind, Belichick is not that crazy angry about this. He's upset at his players. He's not going insane at the NFL here. It was a real penalty, and that's it. Moving forward,
You're the Jets fan. I know you're objective. Okay, fine. I'm neither a Jets fan nor am I a Patriots fan. I'm completely non-involved. I'm a third party in here. Okay. I still, no matter how many times I see it or whatever the rationales are back and forth, I don't throw the penalty flag on that play right there. Straight.
But that's a debatable call. It depends on how you're calling the game. The fact is
when Deshaun Goldson puts a huge hit on a receiver and they throw the defenseless receiver. They throw the defenseless receiver flag. He gets I don't know however many yards. Deshaun Wilson gets fined. He draws the ball loose. He made a play. It's a stupid rule, but it's a rule. Okay, fine. There, I understand. There's a purpose for it. It protects the receivers. I know it's stupid. There's defensive receiver calls all the time, and it's really annoying for defenders because they feel like they can't play the game that they're supposed to play. But it's a rule. Fine. That at least makes some sense. What's the rationale for throwing the flag there? What does it do? You're allowed to push the piles when a runner's running the ball on the goal line.
But let me bring a parable.
Both sides, offensive linemen just shove the entire pile. Why is it legal there, but not on a field goal?
Let me give you a parable here. Let's say, for argument's sake, you have a penalty away from the play entirely. Say you run a screen pass, for argument's sake. The receiver runs at the line, makes a couple nice plays, and that's it. Away from the play entirely, the quarterback gets pushed. That had nothing to do with the play. It was complete. The only thing that is wrong with that would be
a late hit on the quarterback.
A late hit, exactly. But I'm talking like a really late hit.
That exists for the one sole purpose of again protecting quarterbacks like we protect receivers. I mean.
Okay, but that defeats that's fine. But that then defeats the argument. Fine. But that then defeats the argument of it had nothing to do with the play. Why call it?
The point of that penalty is to protect the player so that it doesn't happen. It's supposed to be in the back of the mind of the linebacker or the defensive end, not to hit him once the ball goes loose because he'll get penalized. And the NFL says don't do it because they want to protect their asset.
Well, of course. But what I'm saying is that I'm just simply saying there's an argument being brought that had nothing to do with the play. Why call it? Roughing the passer has nothing to do with the play either in a lot of cases. Last night, after Andrew Luck throws the ball, linebacker gut checks him. Had nothing to do with the play. It was a couple seconds after the play. They still call it. Has nothing to do with the play. It took no effect.
The point of the call is not supposed to do with the play. It's supposed to do with the player. The point of that call is supposed to do with the player and protecting the player. The point of the call yesterday on the field goal is not there to protect the player. It's not there to. It's really not there. What's it there for? You're allowed to do it on a handoff. Why are you not allowed to do it on a field goal? What's the difference?
Truthfully.
And you're not even pushing an opponent. You're pushing your own guy. What's the matter what I do to my teammate?
Look, it's a fair counter. I'll give you that much.
It's logic.
Look, that's why it's not a call. It's called unsportsmanlike conduct. It's as if you did the touchdown dance too long in the end zone and got the 15 yards. That's ridiculous in its own right also.
Find me a Jets fan that supports the play call and have him tell you why he supports it.
You won't find one that here's the thing. You won't find a person on this earth who, if it's on the other foot, that they're not gonna say that it's ridiculous that they call the play. What I'm saying is that that's going to work for all 32 NFL teams. The truth is, it's a rule. If it's a rule in this case, and they were calling the rules exactly how they're stated all game, you have to call this one. Did anyone know it was a rule? Apparently the Patriots did. As stated by Chris Jones, we went over it probably during camp and stuff, and it just slipped out of my mind.
Okay, fine. After you get past the fact that it is a rule, you're right. It was something that the Patriots did wrong, and they should be penalized for it. But stepping back from it, should it be a rule in the first place? No.
Well, that's a different argument. You can't argue if there are plenty of rules. The Tuck rule.
Hit on a quarterback exists for a purpose. I'm trying to find a purpose for it. What does it do besides hurt the team that does it? What does it do? It costs the game, and it costs the team a game. Essentially.
The truth of the matter here is that Tom Brady cost his team a game. Let's be 100% honest.
Okay, fine. We shouldn't be in overtime in the first place.
You shouldn't be in overtime at all. You could say Gronkowski even. No, I wouldn't go that far. Tom Brady lost this game for the Patriots. Let's be 100% honest. They had this game on a silver platter and did nothing. Did absolutely nothing. Gronk, you can argue, should have made that catch, but he was still a little overthrown on it. So I'm not going to go all out on him. Plus, he's still coming back in his first game. To quote Deadspin.com right here, Jones knew the rule, the officials knew the rule. Belichick, by citing an inaccurate news story, all but admitted he didn't know the rule himself. Complain all you want about a strange penalty that didn't affect the play, essentially giving the Jets the game, but there was no chickenery here. Just an obscure rule popping up at the most crucial of times. That should be familiar enough to Patriot fans. I couldn't have said that better. 2001 Tuck rule game against Oakland. I've got nothing else here. For Patriots fans, especially, to argue about obscure rules is asinine. And to quote Stephen A. Smith, because I have to do it at this point, it's asinine, asset 10, asset 11, asset 18. I had to put that in. But besides the point, let's move forward here. You got a few more minutes. Moving forward, Patriots got their schedules looking Dolphins, Steelers, Panthers, and then Broncos. That's a hard 4 games. That is actually a very tough schedule right now. When we look at it, they could hypothetically, I don't think they will, I'll give them 2-2 here, but they could hypothetically go 0-4 in those 4.
Whose next schedule is it?
Excuse me?
Whose next schedule is it? Those 4 games?
Patriots.
I mean, they've got a lot to correct, but the offense, I think I can see it's meshing a little better. I think it's defensive issues. I think the offense will come with Gronk getting back in practice and players getting a little more healthy and Ridley playing a little better. I think that can happen. I think it's on the defensive side of the ball. They can correct some of those issues. I mean, on the run. I mean, I know they're hurt, but if they can fill those voids, they still should be the favorite in this division.
That's still definitely true. And if the truth, even though Amendola's been out, he does this team does ride a little bit on him because that's a big piece. He is poor man's Wes Welker. But this team, if they can get Amendola healthy, which is a big if, they'll probably still take the division. For the Jets, at Cincy next week, home versus the Saints, at Buffalo, at Baltimore. Again, a hard 4 games. For the most part, the Bills game should be easy, especially without EJ Manuel.
If they can beat the New England Patriots, if they can beat Goliath, then you can't discount them.
The problem is that they beat Goliath. This is my problem. Monday night, they beat Goliath against the Falcons, and then they lost to David and the Steelers. That's the problem. Geno's been having one good game, one bad game. One good game, one bad game.
The Colts have beaten the Seahawks, the Broncos, and the 49ers.
And lost to the Chargers.
Who they lose to?
They lost to the Chargers. I know that for a fact.
Okay, fine. So, I mean, obviously, there's going to be inconsistencies. But
they lost to the Dolphins and to the Chargers.
The big team.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's going, but I think this is a very interesting point brought up yesterday. Let me look up who brought it up. The point was that last year at this time, they played the Patriots in overtime. And they lost. And then the wheels came off and they went into complete collapse mode. Here's the exact quote.
That wasn't Buff Bumble, was it?
No. Here's the quote exactly. Last year, the Jets lost a heartbreaker in Week 7 to the Patriots in overtime. Never recovered and derailed the season. I was horrified that we would have a repeat. But nonetheless, this team needs to get more consistent. That's what they need. If they can get consistent, I give them a chance at the playoffs. Right now, I have them at 8-8 to end the year.
The Jets?
The Jets. Now, that wasn't my prediction at the beginning of the year. I picked 3-13. Right now, I have them at 8-8 to end the year. And I think they could go 9-7. I really do. If they could balance out this run game a little more, and I want to see Josh Cribbs a little bit more in the receiving core. I liked what I saw him yesterday in Wildcat especially. This team could go 9-7 and be a sneaky they won't win anything,
There's
deep.
a lot of it. There's a lot of optimism in there. I mean, you got to remember you're working with Geno Smith, who's been very mistake prone.
He's been incredibly inconsistent. He's been